Alright, hello everyone. We'll be starting the Deta workshop in a few moments because hopefully some more people will join. So, yeah. If you haven't already, please download the Deta command line interface. I'll put the link where you can do that in the chat. And it's gonna be in the chat right now. Alright, so for those of you who just joined, the Deta, the link to download the Deta CLI or command line interface is in the chat. So if you guys don't mind, please download that for your OS. And we'll get started in a few moments. Alright, hello, those who've just joined. The link to download the Deta command line interface in the chat. If you guys don't mind downloading that, that'd be great. And we'll get started in a few moments because the ping was sent out late. Alright, hello everyone. My name is Ethan, and welcome to the Deta workshop. So, Deta is a free cloud. They call it the mini cloud, Deta does. And the free cloud service aimed for creators, and it gives you a free database, drive, and hosting It lets you host using Python or Node.js, and it's really nice for building like small apps. I've made a few apps in Deta, and it's honestly just really nice. Let me share my screen. Here we go. So here I have the um, data.space pulled up if it decides to load, which of course it never does. Okay, here let me just get a new data.space in here. So basically, Deta is a really nice service that gives you your own free mini cloud, like I said. And here's the Deta website. If you guys don't mind signing up for an account, it's 100% free. You get all the services for free and free. So since I already have an account, I'll log in here and we'll get started. So hopefully you guys have downloaded the command line interface and we'll go over that in a second. But first, let's get like the base code that I'm going to be demonstrating on. So I'm gonna put a GitHub link in the chat. If you're familiar, oh yeah, when you sign up, don't forget to check developer mode. It's very important because if you don't, you're not it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna put a GitHub link in the chat. Um, for those of you who are familiar with Git, you can clone it into your own computer. But if not, I will show you guys how to pull it into your own in I will show you how to like download it and then open it on your own computer. So basically what you're gonna do, you're gonna download the zip file and you're gonna shoot. You're gonna move that where you want it in your thing. So in my case, I'm gonna move it into my PyCharm projects place and then unzip it there. If I'm able to find it, please. Um, Here we go. I know you guys can't see it, but basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the zip and I'm putting it into where I usually develop things. So give me a few seconds. And then we'll unzip it here. And then you should be able to open it. So for this workshop, um I will be using I'll be using PyCharm. So let's open the project that I just cloned, which is called, if it wants to show up, Deta Flask main, and then we'll trust it because I literally made it myself. And if you don't want to trust it, it's fine. Okay, so here we have our base project. We're going to be using Flask and stuff. And let's get started setting up the CLI. So in the CLI, it's pretty straightforward to set up. You should be able to just go into your terminal and you can do base login. I'm already logged in, but basically what you want to do is you want to generate a new access token through your space. And how you do that is you go into here, you go to settings, I believe, and then you make an access token. And then basically this is just my token ID. It's not that important, but basically when you generate a token, you don't want to let anyone else see it because they will be able to access your data. And basically when you close it, it won't let you access it again. So make sure you copy paste it and put it in here, and then you'll be authenticated. So yeah. Um, Let me see, what is this chat? Okay, cool. Glad we got that fixed. So now let's get started developing the app. Um, so basically, let's start a new space thing in here. So how we get that started is a new space new. You do space new, and I'm just gonna call mine Deta Flask Workshop. All right, and my name is too long. Wow. Okay. Space new. I'm just gonna call it Deta Flask then. Okay. And then it's like micro found, and then it's gonna create stuff here. Do I want Deta Flask with this configuration? Yes, I do. Basically, I just pressed Y, like usual, and then it's gonna create a dot space folder, and it will create something called a space file. A space file is basically how it's gonna configure your application. All right. So, all right. So, um, to get okay. So after you've created this space, like folder or like repository, I guess you can call it. If you go over into your builder, you should see it show up Data Flask right here. And then you'll be able to open it, look at it, stuff like that. Um, all right, so let's set up our Python virtual environment for this project. So in PyCharm, if you're using PyCharm, you can just set one up like this. You don't exactly have to set one up, but I like to anyways, because yes. And it seems I already have an interpreter. Where did I get this from? Oh, it automatically created it for me. Nice. Anyways, here, I'll still lead you guys through it. So you want to do, if you're in PyCharm, you want to do Control Alt S. You want to go to your project, Python interpreter, show all, and then you want to create um, a new Python interpreter virtual environment, and then you'll be able to pip install -r requirements.txt, which will install all the requirements into your project, which is already satisfied for me. So that's cool, I guess. And then, any questions? Because we're gonna start getting into the code. If anyone needs help, I'm here. If someone typing a question. Okay, so so all good? Cool. All right, so let's quickly go over the thing I'm using here. Basically, what I'm using is called Flask. Flask is a nice little, it's like, what's the Flask equivalent in the Node.js? Shoot, I forgot. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, basically, Flask allows you to create a website with Python. With the Python backend, allows you to serve templates, make templates, and like procedurally generate them through the um, templating languages, I guess. And Flask uses the templating language called Jinja. Um, there's not much to say about it. It's just Express.js. And not much to say about Jinja. Allows you to. Okay, I couldn't follow since the CLI download. Can you summarize? Of course. So what we've done is we've authenticated the CLI through space login. After you do space login, you get an access token here. Access token, you go to your space and you go to settings right here at the bottom. You log in, you go to settings, and then you create you create a new access token like this. And then after you've done that, you clone the code into your own repository, and then you'll be able to get started. Make sure you set up a virtual environment. Hopefully you know how to do that, or you have your own environment, it doesn't really matter. And then you have your space file, and then after you've done that, you did space new, which created a space folder and a space file, which is going to be like, you could think of it like a GitHub repo, but for Deta, and you'll get started like that. Does it kind of make sense? And after you've created the space new, it should show up in your builder right here. All right, cool. I'll be available to answer questions after the workshop if you need it, but let's get on with coding. Okay, so let's get on with coding, I guess. Okay, so um, let's first add the index root to our.
Hey, Ethan, we have a couple questions in chat.
Wait, where?
I think he got those, and then I'm just gonna help a little bit extra, but it should be right.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, I don't think he missed anything.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So let's start coding the index roots for our app. So in Python, how you do this is you will do at app.route because we configured our Flask with app here, and then we'll do the path slash, and then the only method you're going to get there with is get, and you want to put that in a list because there's multiple methods in which you can get to a place, but here we're just going to use get. So we'll do create the index function, and then we'll add a comment. This is our home page, and then we'll serve our index.html that you've got from the GitHub. All right, straightforward so far. Pretty straightforward so far. And now let's code some stuff into our index.html. So this is a pretty bare bones HTML so far. We have some jQuery, Bootstrap, stuff like that. Yeah, icons. And then we have the title so far, the top line, and let's look at this so far actually. So if you just do space dev, it'll start like a local development environment, I guess, in a way. And then, oh, no dev command. That's right, because I haven't configured the space file. So let's configure the space file for dev real quick. So how you do that is in Flask, you'll want to run it. This is the command. If you do dev like this will be the command it will run when you say, okay, let's do space dev. So it's going to be flask --app main.py run. So basically, when you run space dev, basically what space dev does, it's going to initialize your collections, which is your database and drive and stuff. And then it's going to call this command or run this command, which is going to run the actual app. All right. So let's do this. Let's try this space dev again. And then wait for it to initialize. Here we go. So, oh, that opened on the wrong one. Let's see. So, right, I want to open here. Okay, so this is our space app so far. Looking good. Here's our modal, which doesn't have anything in it yet, obviously. But let's code that in right now. So, so in our index.html file, you see here's our creation modal. I called it the new modal. But yeah, so let's make a form in here. So form, and then the class will be modal content because it's in a modal, obviously. And what a modal is, it's basically, you can think of it as an overlay. And then our form action will be to /create. And then our method will be post. Okay. So you've created the form. And now let's create a div. Let's make the class equal to container. So, because it contains stuff, that's what a container does. Shoot. And then let's create an h1 in here to tell the users what this does. And I have an inline style here to make it white because, yes, we want it to stand out on the black background. So let's just put new here. And then if you look at our thing, reload it, hopefully this works. And it says new in our modal. Perfect. So let's start adding the inputs to have the user actually be able to input some stuff. So if we do input, autocomplete will be off. And then let's autofocus on this input area. The class will be some form control, which is provided to us by Bootstrap, and name, which I've already done in styles.css. And the name of this input will be name because it's the name of the to-do. And then for the placeholder, let's just say it's the to-do name. And the type will be text. Admittedly, I should have added the type first, but whatever, doesn't matter. All the same. Okay, now we have this, and here's what it will look like. We can type stuff in now. So we have that, and then let us, and then we also have a description area because you want to like know what you're gonna do, right? Like not only a title, but like also a short description. So let's add a text area, and let's call it class form dash control description. And description, these are pre-coded classes for us, or pre-styled, and then the name will be description. The placeholder, what do you know? It's description, and let's just give it a healthy 6 rows for now. So that's cool. Oh wait, I just realized I haven't shown you guys what we're building today. Let's do that right now. So what we're building today, I already have it coded up here, is a little to-do list app. And then when you're all done, this is what's going to look like. You'll be able to add to-dos, and you'll be able to delete them. So that's what we're going to be coding today. Pretty simple app. Anyways, back to the code. So here we have our text area so far, and obviously this is what it looks like. We have a text area down here. And now let's add our cancel and submit buttons. So let's put them in a div, and then the class will be clearfix because yes, that's a pre-coded class that I have in the styles.css. And then let's create the cancel button. So type equals button. And then on click, we want to obviously close the modal. And to do that, we'll do some inline JavaScript document.get element by ID. And we'll want to get I'm throwing. We want to get the new modal. And then we want to give it the style dot display equals none. There we go. And then we'll give that a class of cancel button, which is a pre-coded class in the styles.css. And then in there, we'll just put cancel. And then if we look back here at our to-do, we have a cancel button that closes the modal. All right. Now the fun part. Now the submit button. So let's create another button. And the type will be submit. And then the class will be a submit button, which is another pre-coded style. And then we will put submit in there. And then we have a submit button, which doesn't do anything because we haven't created the /create path yet. So let's do that right now. In our main.py, let's create a new app.route. Create a new app.route. And we'll call it /create. Oh, I forgot to add the at. There we go. /create, and the only way you're gonna get here is through post. So let's put that in there now. Post. And then we'll do a create function. And so basically what we want to do in this create function is we want to add something to our database, and to get our database we'll need to initialize it. So up here we have from Deta import base. So right here let's just do a to-dos equals base, and we'll name our base to-dos. So basically it's gonna open a new base called to-dos if you don't have it yet, but if you do, it will access the base and then it's gonna get all the information from there. All right, in our create function, let's make sure that the user has passed in. So request.form.get. Let's get the name property. This gets the form name. So it's based off the name of our thing, which is name. And we want to make sure they have a description as well. And we want to do and request dot form dot get description. All right, and then in here, so Deta doesn't work like all online services, doesn't work 100% of the time. So let's put a try in here, and we'll access our to-dos right here, and we'll use the get method or the put method in order to put data into the base. And in here, our data is like a JSON. We want to do description equals request dot form dot get description. And then in here, so Deta, Deta bases, they have a key, and if you don't input a key, it will automatically generate one for you, but we don't want that. We want the key to be the name. So we have a second parameter here, which will be our name of the to-do, which will also be our key. And then we'll do an accept, because if that doesn't work, it's a server error, so we'll return code 500. And then if it does work, we'll return redirect to the home page. And then basically, if there's no information inputted, we'll just do return code 400. Perfect. So now let's look at what we're looking at here. So what we're looking at here will be here, and then let's put in a name. So important thing to do, description. This is very important. And then when we click submit, it's not found. Oh, that's because we have to restart the entire thing because it doesn't save Python. It doesn't like automatically reload the Python script. So we'll open the new thing, and then we'll go to this. We'll reload it. Oh, nah, we don't want to reset. Okay, I should have done that. Anyways, important. We'll click submit, and it's not displaying yet because we haven't added that part of the code. But if we go into our builder and we go into our Deta Flask and we go into our data and we open our to-dos base, we will see that it has in fact been added to our database. Alright, so now that we have that done, let's see, what do we need to go through now? So now let's write the listing of the notes to actually get it on the front end. So how we're going to be doing that is with Jinja, obviously. So in here, in our index.html, we'll want to create a for loop. So percent for to do in to-dos, and we'll pass in to-dos from the Python file later. And then, like all templating engines, we want to do an and for. And then in here, we want to do a list item with a class of to do. And then in here, we want to do a div class equals p. So these are pre-coded styles that you'll be able to find in the styles.css. And then in here, our h1, let's give it a class of to do name. And then here we'll just do to do dot key. Basically, this is just telling Deta to put the name or the key of the current to do in here. So now let's add the description in here. So class equals to do description. And here we will add to do dot description. All right, cool. Let's see how that looks so far in our thing. So here, if it wants to, so right now, as you can see, it's not displaying anything. That's because we haven't passed in anything as to-dos. So if we go to main.py here, where it's rendering the template, we'll just want to pass in to-dos, like to-dos, and then basically we'll want to fetch the data from the base. And how we do that is through todos.fetch. And then fetch returns a fetch item, which has like a few different stuff you can do to it, but we just want to get the items. And that should work. Let's restart the Python scripts and it should work. So, okay, now it's working. Here we have our very important thing to do. So right now it's a pretty sad life. We can only add stuff to our to-do list, never change, never completing anything. So let's add the delete. So in our deletes, let's add the HTML first. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a link, which is an A. We wanna get some pre-coded styles in here. Icon, and then del for delete, and then this will go to our slash delete path, which we'll code later, and it's gonna give a URL parameter argument query thing, and we want it to be the key of the to-do, like so. And then after we have that, let's just put a nice little icon in here, because I added font awesome icons up here, which are really nice. So this is just gonna be a simple trash icon. So fa-sharp, fa-solid, fa-trash, and then we'll del, and it's gonna be the delete icon, which is gonna give it the color. So now we have that. We have the delete button here, and if we hover over it, it's gonna turn red, which is cool as hell. So now that we have that, as you can see, 404 not found / delete path is not created yet. So did I just say created? Anyways, it has not been created yet. So let's go to our main.py. Let's add a new app root. It's gonna be app.route. Let's do / delete. And the method we're gonna be using is get. And then we'll want to do new function delete. And then like above, we want to create a try and accept. And instead of using put, we want to use delete. And then we'll pass in the key from the URL argument, and we get that by request.args.get, and we want to get to do because our argument is named to do. So after we did that, we want to redirect to our home, and then if that does not work, we return code 500, which is a server error. So that's basically all there is to this app. If we restart it, you'll see it be able to work, hopefully. Let's reload here. We're able to add stuff. We're able to delete stuff, and it's all going pretty good. So, after you've done this, you obviously want to publish it, reveal it to the public, whatever. So, how you're gonna go about that is you're gonna want to use the space push. But before you do space push, you'll want to add a run command, which is gonna be the same as the dev command, but they just want to separate in case like you want your development to have like some console or something. But basically let's add a run command. I think that's how you do it. And I'm right. So we'll want to do a run command. There's like a lot of other different like arguments you can add here, I guess. You'll find that all on the spacefile docs up here. But if we add a run command, flask dash dash app main dot I run, and then we space push that, and it's gonna build our app, and then it's gonna host it, which is amazing. So after it's downloaded everything onto itself, almost there. Almost there. Yeah. It's like it's doing stuff. But here, let me talk more about Deta. So in Deta, need you don't need to have a builder instance. You don't need to use Deta to host to be able to use their drives and databases. Um, in collections, you can create new collections. I have one right here, which is one of my other apps that I've created using Deta. And in here, you're able to access the same bases and drives as you are in builders. And yeah, you'll just be able to have like a lot of different stuff. And then obviously the manuals and the developer docs are really useful stuff to get more into Deta. But overall, Deta, there's many possibilities with the free hosting, database, and drive. The only limitation for Deta is that their drive only allows you 10 gigabytes, but other than that, like Deta is where it's at. So now that my thing has been hosted, we can go check it out, and then you'll be able to add stuff to your to-do list. You'll be able to delete stuff from your to-do list. And that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you can use the service to um for your hackathon project. I went through that a bit quickly, but if you guys have any questions, I'll be here to answer them.